The disappearance of one form is nothing but the continuation of God's manifestation in another form. When Ibn Arabi uttered these words, he was not merely speaking about the changing shapes of the world. He was revealing a secret that stands at the heart of existence. Nothing truly vanishes, my friend. What appears to end is only a doorway for another beginning. What fades from your sight is reborn in a new image, and what you call loss is often God changing his cloak so that you might discover him again. This truth is not a philosophy. It is the pulse of every breath, the rhythm of every rising dawn, and the silent wisdom behind every moment of your life. You and I, we live in a world of shifting forms. People come and go. Days grow and dissolve. Emotions rise like waves and fall back into the unseen ocean. Yet the one behind these movements never departs. Ibn Arabi saw creation not as a static canvas, but as an endless stream of divine artistry, where every moment is a fresh unveiling. He called it the renewed creation, the ceaseless recreation of the universe at every instant. And he insisted that the disappearance of a form is not an absence, but a continuation. God simply choosing to speak to your heart in another language, another shape, another moment. My dear friend, reflect on your own life. Think about the moments when you believed something was taken from you, a dream that collapsed, a loved one who drifted away, a season that ended before you were ready. In those moments, you might have whispered, "Why, my Lord?" But Ibn Arabi invites you to see it differently. He invites you to witness the divine behind the veil of change. For in the language of the heart, endings are illusions, and the only true reality is the perpetual becoming of God's beauty. Rumi once said, "When the soul loses something, it gains something else." And this echoes Ibn Arabi's truth. The form is gone, yes, but the meaning continues, the light continues, the lover continues. The beloved never leaves you. He only shifts his appearance so that your heart does not fall asleep. For if life were one unchanging picture, the soul would stagnate. But with every change, God says to you, "Come closer, look deeper, know me beyond shapes." My friend, imagine standing on the shore of a great ocean. The waves rise, crash, dissolve, and arise again. If you judged the wave by its temporary crest, you might call its disappearance a death. But the ocean knows no death. It knows only movement. The wave that falls becomes the wave that rises. And this is how divine manifestation works. The form collapses, but the essence flows into the next moment, seeking a new expression. Ibn Arabi saw the world exactly like this ocean, ever renewing, ever becoming, ever speaking.
In the Futuhat al-Makkiyah, Ibn Arabi explains that every instant of existence is a new creation, a fresh engraving of divine will upon the canvas of reality. Nothing carries over from one moment to the next except the hidden command of God. The forms around you are like flashes of lightning, radiant, momentary, and replaced by another flash in the very next breath. So when a form disappears, do not mourn its vanishing. Recognize the one who is revealing himself again, differently, tenderly. This is why the mystics speak so gently about loss. They are not untouched by pain. They simply see deeper than the surface. They see the river under the melting snow, the dawn behind the fading night, the love behind the broken shell of experience. What appears to you as the end of something is, in their eyes, the start of a new divine conversation. Ibn Arabi would tell you, do not cling to forms, for the more tightly you cling, the more painful their departure becomes. Instead, let the forms pass through you like wind through the reeds. Let the Beloved's breath reshape your life as he chooses. You may ask, why does he change his forms at all? And the answer, my friend, is love. The Beloved knows that the heart grows complacent when everything remains the same. So he renews creation every moment, giving you new pathways to him. When one door closes, he opens another, not out of cruelty, but out of mercy, because the door itself was never the treasure. The treasure was always him. Think of the rose. In spring it blooms. In summer it glows. In autumn it withers. But the rose bush remains, drinking from the same earth, breathed upon by the same sun. The flower's disappearance is not loss, it is preparation. The Beloved is shaping the next bloom. Your heart is the same. Your experiences are the petals. They will come and go, but the one who waters your soul is unchanging. Ibn Arabi teaches us that true vision does not cling to appearances. The true seeker looks with the inner eye, the basira, seeing the divine continuity hidden beneath the dance of forms. And when you look this way, even sorrow transforms into light. What you once called ending becomes a gentle nudge from your Lord saying, "Rise, the next chapter is my will unfolding." Friend, have you ever noticed how the sky never holds one shape for long? The clouds shift, dissolve, reappear. The colors shift between gold and crimson and violet. Yet above all of that change is the vastness of the sky itself, unchanged, untouched, infinite. This is your Lord. The forms in your life are the clouds. They come and go, but the one behind them is constant. If you see only the clouds, you will feel lost. But when you see the sky, every change becomes a reminder of his presence. This is why Ibn Arabi is often called the master of meaning. He teaches you to look beyond what leaves you and to discover the one who never leaves. In his metaphysics, the world is recreated at every instant, and every recreation is a fresh opportunity for you to meet God. The disappearance of a form is simply the Beloved saying, "I am not finished revealing myself to you." What mercy! What beauty! Every change is a new invitation.
And so, my dear friend, if today you are grieving something that vanished, a friend who left, a prayer that went unanswered, a dream that dissolved, know that the divine flow has not stopped. God is manifesting in another way for you. The river does not end where the bend hides it from your sight. Keep walking. Keep trusting. The water is still moving. In the next part of this journey, we will go deeper into how this teaching transforms your spiritual path, your inner world, and your understanding of divine love. When you begin to understand that every passing form is only a doorway to another divine revelation, a quiet transformation begins inside you. You stop fearing change. You stop resisting the flowing of life. And slowly, gently, something extraordinary awakens in your heart. Trust. A deep trust in the unseen movements of God. In this trust, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead begin whispering, "What are you showing me now, my Beloved?" This shift from fear to trust, from grasping to surrender, opens the gates of true spiritual maturity. Ibn Arabi describes the seeker as someone who learns to see the signs of the real, the haqq, in every moment. To him, the world is not a random sequence of events, but a flowing revelation. Each change is a verse. Each disappearance is a sign. Each new form is an ayah, written by the pen that never ceases its inscription. My friend, do you know what happens when you begin to see life this way? The storms lose their terror. The night loses its heaviness. Even sorrow becomes sacred because you begin to feel that beneath the fragile movement of the world, something unbreakable is carrying you. Something eternal, something made of light. And that something is not separate from you, it is the truth of your own being. Ibn Arabi says that the human being is the mirror of God's manifestation. The forms that come and go in your life are reflections appearing on the surface of this mirror. But the mirror itself, the heart, is the place where the real is witnessed. If you polish this mirror with remembrance, sincerity, and presence, you begin to see beyond the reflections. You begin to see the face. This is why the mystic speaks so often about the heart, not as an organ, not as an emotion, but as a sacred space. A throne where the divine descends, a chamber built to receive the beloved. When the forms around you vanish, the heart cries not because something was taken away, but because it is being prepared to receive something deeper, a clearer reflection, a more intimate unveiling.
Look at your own journey. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago or even 1 year ago. Something in you has died many times. An old belief, a fear, a relationship, a dream. But something else has been born each time. You shed skins the way a tree sheds leaves. You lose shapes the way the moon loses phases. But you remain. And through every change, you are drawn closer to the essence of who you truly are. And who are you? A soul breathed into being by the one who never ceases to manifest. A traveler whose destination is not a place, but a knowing. A lover whose longing is the key to the hidden treasures of the heart. When Ibn Arabi says that the disappearance of one form is the continuation of God's manifestation in another, he is reminding you that your life is a tapestry woven moment by the beloved. Each thread is a manifestation. Some threads are bright with joy, others are dark with trial. But the weaver is the same. And when you step back, when your heart grows still, you begin to see that the design is beautiful. Even the threads you once hated are part of the pattern that makes you whole. There is a story in the Masnavi where Rumi speaks of a lamp hidden inside a lantern. If you focus only on the shape of the lantern, you will miss the flame inside. And when the lantern breaks, you might think the light is gone, but the flame simply rises, naked and free. Rumi uses this tale to show that the forms in our lives, roles, relationships, identities, are lanterns. They break, they change, they disappear. But the flame, the inner light, continues to shine. This story mirrors Ibn Arabi's vision perfectly. The lantern disappears, the flame remains. The form dissolves, the manifestation continues. God's unveiling moves from shape to shape so that the seeker learns not to worship appearances. And this, my friend, is the cleansing fire of spiritual growth. But let us be honest, living this truth is not always easy. Sometimes the departure of a form hurts deeply. Sometimes the breaking of the lantern feels like the breaking of your heart. Ibn Arabi does not ask you to deny this pain. He asks you to walk through it with awareness. For pain too is a form, and behind it is a manifestation of divine mercy. When something is taken from you, He is making space. When something falls apart,
he is preparing the next unveiling. If only you could see what he is shaping behind the curtain, your tears would turn to gratitude.
There were moments in Ibn Arabi's own life when forms dissolved around him. People misunderstood him, scholars opposed him, and he traveled from land to land like a wandering flame. Yet he never lost his trust. He wrote that life is a series of divine breaths, and each breath carries a wisdom that the mind cannot always grasp. He surrendered to the flow, allowing God to manifest in whatever form he chose. My friend, think of the seasons. Winter does not come to punish the earth, it comes to prepare it. The trees look dead, the flowers disappear, the warmth fades. But beneath the ground, life is gathering strength. The silence is not empty, it is full. And when spring arrives, it reveals what winter was nurturing. In the same way, when a form disappears from your life, it is not because the beloved has abandoned you. It is because he is preparing the soil of your soul for a new bloom. When you live with this understanding, a new kind of courage enters your heart, a courage not born from stubbornness, but from intimacy with God. You begin to say, if he takes, I trust him. If he gives, I trust him. If he changes the form, I trust him, because he is the one acting behind every appearance. This is the state of rida, contentment, the sweetest fruit of the spiritual path. Now let us bring this teaching into your daily life. When a difficulty arrives, instead of collapsing into despair, pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what form is disappearing? And what new form might be preparing to appear? This question softens the heart. It opens a window toward patience, and it allows you to feel the divine wisdom moving beneath the surface. In relationships, too, this wisdom speaks. People change. Some stay for a chapter, some stay for a page. Their presence and their departure are both manifestations. Ibn Arabi teaches you not to cling so tightly that you suffocate the divine flow. Love those around you, yes. Care for them with sincerity, yes. But do not confuse the form with the source of love. People are mirrors. The light reflected in them is the divine light. In your spiritual practice, this teaching can transform the way you understand prayer. Sometimes your prayers feel alive and luminous. Sometimes they feel dry and empty. Both are forms. Both are manifestations. The disappearance of spiritual sweetness might be preparing your heart for a deeper sincerity, a more authentic longing. Ibn Arabi says that longing itself is a divine manifestation, for only God can make you yearn for him. In the next section, we will bring all of this together, how divine manifestation in changing forms shapes your purpose, your identity, and your awakening. As you walk deeper on this path, the teaching of Ibn Arabi begins to reshape the very way you understand yourself. You start to realize that even your own identity is a form among forms. The you that you cling to, the stories, the fears, the roles, the labels, these too shift and dissolve across time. The child you once were is gone. The version of you from 10 years ago is gone. Even the you from yesterday has already vanished into a new manifestation. And yet, something remains untouched. Something continues. Something watches these changing selves like waves on the surface of a vast sea. This unchanging depth is your spirit, the breath of the divine within you. Ibn Arabi calls it the secret of secrets, the innermost reality that never disappears even as all outer forms transform. When he says that the disappearance of one form is simply the continuation of God's manifestation in another, he is also speaking about this inner journey. Your life is not a straight line, but a spiral, always returning to the one, always circling closer to the center. My friend, consider this. If forms did not disappear, you would never grow. You would never awaken. You would be trapped in a single version of yourself, unable to break free, unable to become who you truly are meant to be. The disappearance of a form, even within your heart, is a mercy. Something old must fall away for the new to arise. And this is the meaning of fana and baka, the dissolving of the ego and the abiding in the real. Not through force, not through rejection, but through understanding the nature of divine manifestation. In the teachings of Tasawwuf, the world is described as a house of mirrors. Every form reflects an aspect of the real. Some mirrors are clear, others are dusty, some are broken, some are radiant, but each reflection carries a lesson, a sign, a whisper from the beloved. When a mirror shatters, the unwise cry over the pieces, but the one who sees with the eye of the heart knows that the reflection has moved on to another place. The manifestation has changed its garment. The lesson now waits in a new form. Rumi expresses a similar truth when he says, "Set your life on fire. Seek those who fan your flames." Fire, my friend, is a form that consumes forms. It burns away the old so the heart may glow with new light. The fire of the spirit does the same. It takes away attachments, illusions, and surfaces, not to leave you empty, but to reveal your core. When the form burns, the essence shines. Think of the night sky. The stars are constantly burning and dying, collapsing and reforming, yet the sky never loses its beauty. Its splendor is made of countless disappearances and rebirths. If you could see your own journey with the same perspective, you would recognize that your most painful endings are often the seeds of your most luminous beginnings. What appears as a collapse is often a cosmic rearrangement, preparing you for a new manifestation of divine closeness. In the Futuhat, Ibn Arabi describes how the divine breath moves through creation like a wind shaping clouds. Sometimes the clouds gather dark and heavy, and sometimes they open to reveal a radiant sun. But the wind is constant, purposeful, wise. In your life, the forms may gather into storms or dissolve into clear skies, but the breath guiding them never abandons you. You are always held by the one who is closer to you than your own jugular vein.
The modern seeker often struggles with uncertainty. Jobs change, relationships shift, the world moves faster than the heart can sometimes follow. But if you carry Ibn Arabi's insight in your chest, you begin to see change not as chaos, but as choreography. Every movement is intentional. Every ending is synchronized with a beginning you may not yet see. And every moment is a manifestation meant to guide you toward greater knowledge of your Lord. My friend, do you know why the mystics walk the path with such peace? Not because their lives are easier, but because they surrendered to the divine unfolding. They trust the Beloved's wisdom more than their own understanding. They allow themselves to be reshaped,
redirected, reborn again and again. They do not cling to what disappears because they know the one who replaces it. This does not mean indifference. A Sufi loves deeply, but the Sufi loves through God, not instead of God. When a form disappears, the Sufi grieves, but the grief is held in a chalice of trust. The heart bends, but does not break, because it knows that every form is a letter in the divine story, and the story is not yet finished. Now let us bring this teaching into the most intimate part of your journey, your longing for God. Sometimes on this path you feel distance. You feel the sweetness of prayer fade. You feel your heart turning quiet and cold. You wonder if something has been taken away from you. But in truth, this is also a disappearance of a form. The form of your earlier spiritual feeling has dissolved so that a deeper, more mature connection can unfold. Longing is not a punishment. It is a preparation. When the earlier form of presence disappears, it is because God is inviting you to seek Him with new sincerity, to walk with more humility, to love with more depth. Every retreat is followed by an advance. Every silence is followed by a revelation. Every emptiness is followed by a fullness more radiant than before. Ibn Arabi teaches that the seeker is never abandoned, only transformed. The beloved hides only to be found more intimately. He changes his forms only to renew your gaze. If you can hold this truth within you, your heart becomes vast like the night sky. No disappearance frightens you. No change unsettles you. You become like the ocean, receiving every wave with grace, knowing that all waves belong to the same sea. This is the freedom of the mystic. This is the peace of the awakened heart. And this is the essence of Ibn Arabi's teaching. My friend, if you are listening to this now, it is not a coincidence. This message reached you because you were ready to hear it. Whatever form has disappeared from your life, whatever chapter has closed, know that the Beloved is not through with you. He is manifesting in new ways. He is guiding you to new horizons. He is inviting you into a deeper intimacy with Himself. So take a breath, place your hand on your heart, and whisper to the one who never stops unveiling Himself. Guide me through your changing forms. Let me see you in all that comes and all that goes. If these words touched your heart, leave a comment and share what form in your life is changing and what new manifestation you feel approaching. And if this journey nourishes your soul, my friend, subscribe to the channel because you are not walking this path alone. And write this in the comments so others can feel it too. Every ending carries a new beginning. When you are ready, continue with the next video. The path unfolds endlessly, and the Beloved is always waiting.